everyone. Welcome back. You haven't had enough of me. Now I'm going to have an amazing panel to join me. And today we're going to talk about how to plan customer success to get a winning annual plan for 2024. So, if the session before was more on frameworks and things that you should consider, now I have these amazing executives to join me to really talk about what they're planning for CS in two perspective. One, all the headwinds and the economical challenges that we're all facing and potentially expecting in 2024. And then, of course, these amazing buzzing scene of technology with all the new tools that are coming up and bubbling up. And I'd like to introduce you the panelist, Alan. He's the customer success leader with 15 years of experience building a high-performing customer success team, especially in enterprise SaaS businesses. Welcome, Alan. He's currently the Senior VP of Customer Success at metadata.io. Super excited to have you with us. Ezra oversees EMEA and LATAM regions for both groups that specializes in LinkedIn data visualization tool, Talent Insights. Welcome, Ezra. And he's been in the customer success world for 9 years and been very bullish for 2024 and what it brings for CS. So can't wait to see what you're doing with your team in 2024 and kind of share your insights and initiatives that you're planning for. And then we have the lovely Danielle. Danielle spent time in leadership roles across product, customer success, and marketing. She's bringing a very interesting perspective to the discussion panel. She's currently the vice president of customer success at a company called Wistia. It's a video marketing platform. So if you haven't checked it out, you should. She's currently the overseeing customer success support and the customer journey. I can't wait to start diving in. Okay, lots of tech updates in 2024. How are you all strategizing to really harness the power of AI tools and really re-examining your own tech stack? Danielle, I know we spoke a lot about how you're going to revisit the customer journey. Maybe you can share what's the most important thing for you as you're looking at 2024.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the thing that we're hyper focused on as we get into 2024, all of the headwinds that you mentioned, we're all experiencing. Those are real. And the thing that we're hyper focused on is really creating an outstanding customer experience. That is at the forefront. It's the way that we as a company differentiate ourselves, and we're leaning even harder into doing that now and as we get into next year. And the trick that I'm sure I share with my colleagues here is doing that in an efficient way. How do we continue to create an outstanding customer experience with the heavy emphasis on expansion, on that post-sale journey and delivering more value to customers, but do that in a scaled and efficient way? And so we're definitely leaning in and looking at AI to help us in that journey. It is certainly not the only thing, but it's a certain components of that. If it only were that easy, right? That was the silver bullet.
Awesome. Okay, so your key component for 2024 is to double click on CX and do it in a scalable way. Ton of questions for you. Ezra, what is your big idea for 2024, given the economical situation and the new wave in technologies? What's the main thing you're going to work on and focus on for 2024?
Love it. And I think one of the things we're really focusing our teams on is spending more time with our customers. I think one of the beautiful things that AI can do is to take away a lot of those other things, some of those administrative tasks, some of those other things that are blockers to being really customer-centric and customer-focused. So I would say that's really for this year where we're focusing is how can we remove some of the noise from what's going on around them so that the customer can really be at the center and they can spend as much time as possible with their customers. And I think this is where I'm hoping AI will play a huge role in like making everyone more efficient, so that that time spent with customers will also be more efficient, and all of that will work together to really enhance the value that they're bringing to their customers.
All right. So Danielle's going to focus on CX and the customer journey and scaling it as much as possible while delivering an amazing customer experience. Ezra is going to focus on productivity, lowering cost to serve, making the team more efficient using data and systems. Alan Ginsberg, what are you going to focus on? What is your big idea for 2024?
Sure. So thanks, Arit. Great to be here. I would say, look, it's a very interesting, challenging times we're all in right now. I think it's sort of an unprecedented time in the software business. And so from my perspective and my team's perspective, it's back to basics, right? It's back to the basics of what CS is all about, which is, as Danielle and Ezra said, focusing on our customers and understanding, what our customers need, what are their goals, what are their objectives, and how do we make sure they're getting great value from utilizing the metadata platform and working with our team. And so it's just about focusing on customer health and understanding where our customers are within health. We rolled out a new health framework this year. We're continuing to operationalize it and making sure we're being impactful with our customers, but it's all around, are we engaging in the right way with our customers? Adoption, are we enabling our customers to really understand and utilize our platform in the most effective way? Value, that's the most important thing, right? Does the value equation make sense? Are they getting, tangible, measurable business value from working with us? And that's, I would say, more critical now than ever. And then advocacy. What are we doing to build advocacy? Are we being a great advocate for our customers? And in turn, as our customers get value and the value increases, are they turning into great advocates for us? And so those are really the core things from my perspective, we've always been focused on within customer success, but I think it's more important now than ever.
Okay. Alan, if I had to recap this, but let me know if I got this right. You're going to focus on customer health, specifically becoming way more customer centric, like really taking it up to the next level. Now that you have the customer health system in place, you're going to operationalize it more, make sure that you deliver on value, engagement, adoption, and make sure that customers are seeing results. Just take whatever you had last year, double down on it. Yes?
100%. That's right.
Awesome. Danielle, I'm really curious. In a world where there's economical challenges and I don't know, most executives that I speak about, with, they're like, okay, we have a lot of challenges in getting more resources. The budgets are either frozen or reduced. And yet you're here is like, no, I'm actually going to expand. I'm going to do more. I'm going to increase the customer experience. May I ask, how the heck are you going to do that?
That's a great question. It takes a village is my short answer. The way that we're doing that is really leaning heavily into, CS it's a function, yes, but it's the company's job. And it involves a lot more folks than just the CS function. And that really is what we are leaning a lot more into. So partnering much more with our friends in products. So when we talk about, getting the value out of the platform, discoverability, so that it's easy for folks to be able to discover the new things that are being released and how it actually benefits them, and how to unlock that. It's developing deep partnerships with product, both in the feedback cycle of here are the things that are and aren't creating value. Here's how we could create more value, but also partnering with products in developing the experience within the product itself to drive adoption. So things like in-app messaging and guides, those are definitely built through a partnership across go-to-market and products. And then we've got a very tight partnership with marketing to figure out the ways that we can, this is kind of the one to many, how can we best leverage our customer marketing function to help improve adoption and drive awareness of key features that are being released. So
Honestly,
it's really
super
engaging
smart.
many more people.
Yeah, honestly, super smart. Okay, don't have enough teams. Let's amplify what we have, which is the cross-functional resources. I would say easier said than done. I actually
sure.
have a few, yeah, I have a few executives like, okay, we just want to enable chat or in-app messaging or like a better support bot that's an AI enabled in the product. And the product team says, yes, it's not a lot of work, and yet nothing
It
happens.
is.
How do you? It sounds like you work with so many, cross-functional executives. How do you get their buy-in? Tell us your secret.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The secret for us was really standing up a growth team that lives within products, so that we've got two dedicated Scrum teams that are stacked against this exact problem. At a lot of companies, that kind of becomes like a project, like a side project that CS usually wants to build more in-app things, trying to get buy-in from products, and getting on that roadmap. It's hard to get that prioritized. And so the way that we've solved that is to, one, say it is wicked important to us as a company, and so much so that we are willing to put in the investment in standing up a dedicated team to do that, who partners very closely with both sales and customer success, as well as marketing, to build that experience out.
Awesome. So make sure that, what a concept, make sure the entire company is customer centric and tie everybody's KPIs to what matters to the customer. The
Yeah,
big
that's the other
idea.
part.
What
We
a big idea. Yeah.
Yeah. We have shared revenue goals with product and go to market, which is also somewhat
Yeah,
unique.
so great. Yeah, if
Yeah.
anybody here is listening and your company's not doing that, you probably should really visit the KPIs of every team. If your company really truly wants to be customer centric, really rethink the KPIs for every single team in your company to make sure it ties back to something that matters to the customer. All right, Ezra, you're up. How many CSMs do you currently have, and what kind of roles do you have within the team? Are they all doing the same team, or do they have like specialized teams, specialized roles?
Yes. So we have quite a large customer success department at LinkedIn. There is your traditional customer success manager across a number of business lines. And then, so the team that I work with is our talent insight specialist team. So we've then been able to layer in some of these specialist teams to ensure that our entire department is more efficient, again, in that idea of everyone can't know everything. So being able to have folks with the breadth of knowledge, with then folks who can come in and give that greater depth. So it's been really interesting to see. We have leaned more and more into these specialist teams as we've seen new products, new initiatives come through the organization. Again, with an organization this size, there's usually something new and exciting coming to market, where our team can come in, specialize sometimes just at the beginning, sometimes for a prolonged period. So we are seeing a lot of that happen. And my team have really gone deep in there. As using data is something that is new to both folks, internally and our customers. So helping everyone to really understand how they can use this within their own work and within their own workflows has been the big mission of our team.
You mentioned that this 2024 is going to be the big year on doubling down on increasing productivity, efficiency, potentially even reducing cost to serve, using AI tools, and potentially those specialized roles. Uh, and you said, I would have loved to even increase that team because it is so helpful in getting those productivity initiatives done. With 2024 coming up, probably less budget than 2023, I'm just going to guess. How are you going to tackle it? Are you thinking about also cross-functional collaboration, or do you have a different way of managing this, for example, like introducing hybrid roles or additional specialized roles?
Yep. And I think One of the beautiful things we've done within our organization to meet this moment, when exactly to your point that resources may be stretched, is within our org we have these number of specialist teams. But again, one priority may be front of mind in the moment that may become less important, or that part of the business is struggling a bit. So we've been able to find a way to move folks and do rotations through different teams, and been able to find areas where folks can excel on some of these other teams. It's been great for our internal mobility, for giving folks those opportunities to try out a new role where they still have the security and sense where their old role is there for them when they would like to return to it. So that's been really helpful for us to be able to meet the needs of the business, is to be able to look across our full specialist teams and find where that need is and where it's most acute in the moment, and really meet that moment for our teams. And then again, as things change, being able to stay nimble, and find where those people can create the outsized value. Because I think that's what we're trying to do with specialist teams, is really where can you provide outsized value. Like for my team, I think there's about 20 of us globally, and that's over thousands of accounts where again they can really make that impact at scale. So that's where we found it, being able to move folks between teams, find folks with similar skill sets, really in that skills first idea. So that's been really helpful for us in this budget sensitive moment, to be able to meet the needs of the business.
And then you also double clicked on thinking about incorporating AI tools into the mix. What are some of the AI tools you're considering incorporating? You don't have to necessarily name names unless you already selected them. But in general, like what are some of the processes or objectives that you're going to leverage AI tools in order to increase performance and efficiency?
I love it. So I think for us, we're taking a cautiously aggressive approach to AI. I think we are still thinking, holistically what we are going to use. And I would say we have definitely not picked out where we're going yet. I think that's kind of the cautious part, is like, let's make sure we do this the right way. Again, with an organization of this size, it adds a bit of complexity to it. So what we've been trying to do as different teams, and again, when you have specialist teams, you have teams who are doing a bit of different work. It's really thinking about how does your specific team use this, and where are the places where we can, again, find that outsized impact using these tools. So that's where we've really been exploring so far. And I think a lot of different teams, there's Tiger teams, there's, different groups who are trying to explore where this will impact their teams. So I would say we're telling our teams to start using some of these tools, see what works. Again, make sure you're doing so securely. I love that point from Ben in the last talk. Do so securely, but test it out. Like, give us that feedback. We want to know where this impact is. So right now, I would say yes, we want to go forward with it. We want to see where it works. But again, we need to make sure that we're doing it in the right way.
Awesome. Okay. So you do think in 2024, you're going to have a completely new set of tech stack that includes lots of different AI tools that the team vetted out, as well as people switching out between roles, having a hybrid role, and in reducing cost to serve, but also elevating potentially the CSM's morale as they become more productive and more efficient.
Let's
Yes,
do
Ezra says yes. Okay, before we move to Alan, those are watching this, type in your questions. If you have questions for them, you should, I wish she asked that. Just type in the question in the Q&A tab. Alan.
Yes.
Your turn. All right. So you mentioned that you're going to focus on becoming more customer centric. You heard Danielle. She says, I'm not just going to do customer centricity for my team. I'm going to do it for the entire company. And I'm sure, building customer health score requires cross-functional collaboration. You mentioned engagement, adoption, delivering on value. How do you think about, amplifying these basics and leveling up? What are some, maybe you can mention like maybe 3 different initiatives that you're going to do in 2024 that you're super excited about?
Yeah. Yeah. So as Danielle said, I mean, customer success, it's not just a functional thing anymore, right? It's a company-wide initiative. Everyone in the company is in customer success. And I certainly try to remind everybody of that when we have our company all hands. I think it's just critical that, all of the core functions across the business, that we're all working together, that we're focusing on customers. And I think it starts at the leadership level, but it's not just there. I've got different folks across my CS org that have sort of a secondary responsibility. So I've got, someone on my team, they're the team liaison to the marketing department. I've got somebody else on the team who's the liaison to the product department. We've got folks who are liaising with, so I think that's critical, that everybody realizes that. I think the most important thing as you're scaling a venture-backed a SaaS business is alignment, and that everybody is focused. And what we're aligned around is our customer and the looking at customer health. And so we started rolling out the health framework, as I mentioned earlier this year. But it's critical that this is it's not a CS thing, it's a company-wide thing. So as you mentioned, right, as we look at adoption, right, a lot of what we look at there is product usage data. So we've been working very closely with our product team and our operations folks to make sure we've got the right product usage data coming into the health framework, so that that's as accurate as possible. As we think about engagement, right, and are we multi-threaded, right? It's not just is the CSM engaging effectively? Are they pulling me in as the head of CS, right? But are we pulling our CEO in? Are we pulling in other key executives, our head of product, whoever it might be? And so we've got a big initiative just to make sure we've got good executive alignment, good multi-threading across all of our customers. And just one initiative we've been doing is our CEO has been out on a CEO roadshow, where we set a goal where our CEO is going to, he's looking to meet with every one of our customers by the end of the year. And so we're supporting him with that, and we're setting those meetings up. So it's absolutely it's a company-wide initiative. There's nothing more important than obviously taking care of our people, but right along with that is taking care of our customers and making sure they're not only having a great experience and they love working with us, but they're getting real, tangible, measurable business value from working with us. That they recognize. It's not just enough that me or my team thinks they're getting value, right? They need to recognize it. They need to attribute it to working with us, and it's got to be differentiated in that we can't get that elsewhere. And those are just some of the things that come to mind as we think about focusing on our customers as a company-wide initiative, or really a company-wide imperative.
Got it. Wow. Freebie idea for everybody. Doesn't have any budget to it. Get your CEO to meet with all of your key clients. What a concept. An initiative 2024, no budget needed, major game changer. Alan, what is the initiative you're most excited to start in 2024, and then you're most hoping would get the budget being approved for it?
Yeah, so I would say, rather than just thinking about or looking at 2024, I would say we're doing planning on an ongoing basis. So we are continually, looking at, assessing, and refining everything that we're doing. We're constantly looking at our team and what can we do to sort of up-level the team. Enablement is a huge initiative, right? What are all the things we can do to get everybody, raise everybody's skill level and capabilities, making sure they're all armed with everything. So we're really doing, and have been doing, planning and refining on an ongoing basis, on a monthly, quarterly basis. And then at the end of each quarter, we're assessing what were the key learnings and what do we need to sort of double down on versus what do we need to pull back on. But I just think overall, as I think about the most important initiative right now, it's really about the team and enabling the team as best we can. We have a separate enablement group that we partner very closely with, and we are constantly figuring out where are the gaps and what do we need to do to close those knowledge gaps and the skill gaps. and how do we just arm everybody with the most effective, impactful tools so they can serve their customers most effectively.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much. We're going to open it up for Q&A. In the meantime, question for everybody that's watching: what is the number one initiative you hoping that would be approved in 2024 and that you're most excited about? Alan just shared his great initiative, by the way. Really tricky to do without a budget, but I think with some lunch and learns, and there's some ways to actually pull that off without any budget, with zero budget. Sign up for my YouTube channel, things like that. All right. So what are you excited about, folks? Type it in the chat. I'm sure Ezra, Danielle, and Alan, who's always working on his strategic plan, would love to hear and get inspired by you as well. And with that, let's look at number one question. Does the dedicated growth team work closely with customer success for their input and customer feedback? From Kathleen Schuback. Hi, Kathleen. Danielle, I think this question is for you. Does your dedicated growth team, I think she means the one you mentioned that works for product, right? Does it work closely with your customer success team to get their input and their feedback? I think she kind of wanted to know, how does it work?
Yes, is the answer. That was the purpose and intent of standing up that team, is not just to do the work, but to have a group that sits on products that can make changes to the product and the overall experience, and be tightly kind of dotted line, if you will, as far as relationship is concerned, to the customer success org, as well as support. And so a lot of ways that shows up, for example, is that we plan as a group together. So we have kind of smaller teams that are anchored towards expansion goals. And those teams represent leaders from that growth team, from marketing, and from customer success, as well as support, working together towards the same goals and planning as though you would sort of in a sprint cycle with the growth team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so inspiring. We should do a video about that alone. This is for all of you. When planning to scale a team, your customer success team or other specialized teams that you have within your domain, do you use a specific equation, sales goals to BOB? I have no idea what BOB is. Guess it's not
Book of business.
Book of business.
Book of business. Oh, duh. All right.
That was a quiz, right?
Bob. Who's Bob? Yeah, it's the book of business. All right. Sales goals to book of business to make sure the team can remain as proactive as possible. When planning to scale a team, do you use a specific equation? For example, sales goals to book of business, etc., to make sure the team can remain as proactive as possible. I guess this kind of alludes to the fact that, okay, maybe the company is still growing. We don't have a budget to hire more. Do you change your equation? Do you have an equation? You used to have an equation. It doesn't work anymore. What do you guys think? Crickets, guys. They don't know what to do.
For me, the way I handle that, if it's useful, the way that I think about that is just getting hyper focused, leveraging technology to get hyper focused on who you should be talking to and engaging with, and not. And that kind of brings to life some of the, health scores, upgrade predictability models, as well as churn risk models.
Yeah, Alana, basically what she's saying, and I'll just say it like more clearly, more directly. So you take that equation you used to have when you had a growth economy, you tear it up, and then you say, okay, can't change anything. So what I could do is I could change the ratio between CSM and number of accounts. But first, I need to double down on productivity, on efficiency, just like Ezra does, or lean in on other teams. I'm going to get super, super creative. You got a bunch of ideas on how to do that today. So hopefully that was helpful, just to get some clarity. We have time for maybe one more question. What have you found to be the sweet spot for the book of business to remain proactive? Okay, I guess it depends on the engagement model and how big the customer is. I'm just going to say that, there's like a very specific, guidelines, industry standards. It's very large customers, etc. So if you meant something else by it, Alana, let us know. I'm just gonna say there's no one answer, right? What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay. How many of you actually have plans to hire? We're hoping that you will get approval for hiring more CSMs in 2024. Yes. How
Yes.
many of you are thinking, Ezra, Alan, and Danielle, and those that are listening, you can put it in the chat. How many of you are going to change your segmentation, meaning your CSM to customer ratio, or just slice the customers a little bit different, maybe use dynamic segmentations? Yes, you're considering changing your segment. Ezra is like, I'm not sure. Alan, Danielle, yes, 100%. We're looking into it.
Yeah,
how many of you are thinking about changing the key performance indicators for your CS teams, or the ones that you're going to maybe double click on in your OKRs for 2024 when you compare it to 2023? Is your focus, your performance focus change, and your KPI goals drastically changed for 2024 versus 2023? No, it's the same. Hot damn, Ezra is like, maybe I'll change one. Maybe.
Yeah, I would say we did a little change. It's like, again, to my earlier point around spending more time with customers, that's now become the central goal, where that was one of a number of different KPIs where it has now become more focused on time with customers.
So that would be which KPI? Ezra? Number one. Okay. Do you have any number one KPI that's kind of like flooded up, just like Ezra's? It's changed?
No, I wouldn't say that it's changed. What I will say is, as we get into 2024, they're going to get a lot more targeted and specific to specific parts of the journey.
Mm-hmm. Ezra? Sorry, Ezra. I meant Alan.
Yeah. And as I said before, as part of sort of looking at and refining everything, look at the KPIs is a key, certainly a key part of that, and it comes back to sort of the key health metrics that we're looking at, and value in it boils down to ROI being the most important. And so we look at that in a number of ways. One, we're able to look at the data in aggregate on the back end and understand sort of what does the ROI picture look like for every customer. But then we will combine that with NPS, NCSAT, and just other sort of data points that we're collecting from our customers, and making sure that everything we're doing is we're just seeing the value customers are getting up and to the right, because particularly in this environment, right? If you're a nice to have, very challenging in this environment, you need to be a must have, can't live without. And the way you get there is by just making sure you're continually increasing the value. So, as we talk about efficiency in the teams, it's all about focus and prioritization. And again, we found by sort of calibrating everything and everyone around that health framework, it enables you to focus and get there, and enables us all to just sort of do more with less, which is the big theme, at least at the moment.
Absolutely. So customer health, we got the engagement. With that, guys, it's a wrap, guys and gals. It's a wrap. Next up, 3 simultaneous sessions. On the stage, you have Shachar Avrahami, the amazing Shachar Avrahami, which will be presenting from CS-led journeys to customer-led journeys. Super interesting. And in addition, there will be 2 more stages featuring the EverAfter live demo. Did I say I was a client? I actually use EverAfter. It's awesome. And then EverAfter next level experience, showcasing the latest updates and features. So go check those out. And welcome to the stage, Shachar. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for a great session.